Okay, so who here has ever encountered two people fiercely hugging each other and then ending up on the ground like cuddling, really angry? Anyone? Anybody's done that? Like no one? Okay. Well, I've been one of those people doing that for about 5 years actually. When I was on the wrestling team in high school. It's true. I wrestled for 4 years in high school, and we had a women's team, and then a year on the men's team in college because they didn't have a women's team in Pennsylvania actually. It wasn't manure farms though, but yeah. So I did that for 5 years. It was a huge part of my life. So taught me a lot of life lessons. But today I'd like to share with you a particular story about where I was so determined in one of my matches to not lose that I didn't realize what was physically happening to my body. So that's weird, but it's not. It's not weird. But so just before I get into the story, a background on wrestling is the point of it is to pin your opponent, and by pinning them, you get them on their back, and the shoulder blades touch the mat for at least 3 seconds, and that's how you win. But you can also win by points, which is you'll gain points by doing various things like shooting on them, which is where you grab their leg, or you tie up with them, which is where you grab the back of their neck and their arm or both their arms to prevent them from shooting on you. So that makes sense, right? Okay, so basically those are just the basic things. So for the sake of the story, we'll call this girl Lucy. And Lucy and I were really big competitors. She was our rival school, high school, and she was strong and scary, and she knew a lot more than I did. And I would always lose to her. For 3 years, I was losing to her straight. And it was my junior year, I think. It was my junior year, or my sophomore year. And we had our district match, which was a pretty big deal. And I went up against her this time. So during the match, we tied up. Right? So I had my hand on the back of her neck and her arm, and she had the same for me. And while we were doing that, she was headbutting me. So it's a common thing, like when you're tied up with somebody to headbutt, but it's not legal. It's not legal, and the ref didn't catch it, and I didn't even realize it. But turns out she headbutted me pretty hard in the nose. And anyway, I didn't realize it at the time, so we just kept going. The ref didn't say anything, and everything was fine. But we kept going, and I was shooting on her, and she was shooting on me, and eventually we were neck and neck with points. We went into overtime, and she got one escape point. She made herself go outside of the ring, and if you go outside of the ring, you have to restart in the center. But I had the upper hand, and I was going to shoot on her, but she played the ring and went outside, so I couldn't. And then the time stopped. We had to reset, and the time was out. So she won by a point, but she didn't pin me. So, that being said, the match went on forever, what seemed like forever, and I didn't get pinned, and that was my goal. So I didn't beat her, but when it was over, I noticed my teammates were looking at me kind of odd, like something was wrong with me. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm looking in the mirror, and my face is bruised, and my nose is bruised, and underneath my eyes are bruised. And it turns out she broke my nose. So I didn't even realize it during the match because I was so determined on winning and so focused on winning. I didn't even realize. I'm sure that it had a little bit to do with the adrenaline and stuff like that too, but I was so focused on winning and beating her that I didn't realize she had broken my nose during the match. So determination can be a very powerful tool in our lives. And I learned that throughout the rest of my wrestling career, and some takeaways from wrestling that I can apply in real life is like a broken nose. I didn't realize my nose was broken, and I kept going because I was so determined for something. And there were other incidences like that as I continued wrestling where the flu or something like that, and then manage to take second at a tournament. So when you want something as bad as you want to breathe, then it's that determination and that discipline that'll allow you to achieve that goal. So that's a little takeaway that I've learned from wrestling and my matches like that, and I've applied it to other aspects of my life. So to me, nothing's impossible as long as you apply yourselves, because you can overcome anything, whatever adversity you might face. And it's that determination along with discipline that serve as motivation, because you might not always wake up and feel as though, oh, I'm not motivated today, I'll do it tomorrow, or next week, or I'm just not motivated to do my homework, so I'm just not going to do it. And a lot of people do that, and they make excuses for themselves, which is something that we often see, especially people in our generation and our age. But there is no excuse at the end of the day. I mean, you're not dying, so at the end of the day, you're not dying. And one thing that I'll leave you with that really means a lot to me, because I come from a military family, and I'm in the military, so my father always told me, if you're having a bad day, put it in perspective and just remember you're not getting shot at. Thank you.